Welcome to Recurring Nightmares, episode 54. I am Chris, as always, joined by Jeff.
We're back.
We are back. Hopefully we'll be back quickly with another one before the end of this month to get back on track. So we are a few weeks behind, I think.
Yeah, we're trying. We meant to be closer to on time this time, but I did not factor in that I was going out of town.
And then I went out of town, and it's
and
all
like
good.
also getting back from out of town, there's just like you have to like reset everything, like laundry, etc. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
like
a lot.
fucking yeah.
It is a lot. But yeah, we got a pair of anthology films to discuss tonight, and we will get to those shortly. But first, Jeff and I have seen a bunch of films. We are in the midst of spooky season. So I've seen a lot of horror stuff, which is what we generally discuss here anyway. But Jeff, what have you been up to over the last little bit?
I haven't seen too many movies, but I did get a chance to see what is kind of like this phenomenon, which is the Terrifier series. I got to see Terrifier 3.
Yeah, me too.
And, if I recall correctly, I think you really liked, or at least you liked Terrifier 2. I still wasn't sold on this series.
So I think Terrifier 1 is a bad movie with some decent gore.
Yeah.
I think Terrifier 2 is a good movie with some very, very aggressive gore. But it's a much better movie than the first one.
Yeah. But I was still not quite. I saw the first two. I think the first one is barely a movie. It's like a highlight, like special effects highlight reel. 2 is almost too much movie.
It's long. It's 2.5 hours.
And if I recall correctly, like my problem with it was, among other things, was that like it could have been shorter if it was better edited. It just felt like every scene, like every beat, went on a half beat too long. And so if you were able to have someone who was good at editing, it could have been a good, maybe not out 90-minute movie, but 2 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
But also I wasn't like sold on other things either. Like I still think like the main thing with these movies is the gore, which should just be enough for me because it's kind of like one of my favorite things. But I don't know. I've just been really resistant to this series. And also, like, near the end of 2, it gets into some shit. Maybe you'll be able to explain it to me tonight, where I'm just like, what? She's like the chosen one, and she's like an angel. She has wings. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so that happens in 2 as well.
Yeah.
She gets the sword. There's like backstory about the sword that she gets from her dad, which was her dad is a comic artist, and like they kind of go over that again in 3.
Yeah, like there's a brief, like very brief flashback to, or like, flashback to it. But I think this is all nonsense. I'm like, what is this? Like, but anyways, all that aside, I got to see part 3 and in the theater, and one thing about seeing it in the theater made it a little more special for me because I did not quite realize how popular this has become among horror fans. Like, people showed up for this.
It's huge, yeah.
Like, it is the most packed house I've been in the movie theater since the Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert film. Like, this was full.
Should be noted that it debuted at number 1, $18 million, and it's an unrated horror film. Like that received minimal marketing. Like,
yeah, whether you like the series or not, what Damien Leone has pulled off is pretty remarkable. Like, it's really cool that this really small independent movie and like you said, it's unrated. Number 1 at the box office. It beat a comic book movie in its second week, but still, like, pretty crazy. It's pretty.
Yeah.
impressive to him for it, and it's a really cool thing to see as a horror fan. But it added to the atmosphere, like all the people, like everyone can Terrifier shirts, hoodies, fucking sweaters. I was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, this is wild. And I think this is the one where I finally came around to it. I think a lot of that had to do with one, seeing it, in that atmosphere with that audience. But two, It's been noted, I'm a pretty big fan of Christmas horror at this point, and adding that element to this, like,
push it over the edge for you.
Yeah, as well as, and like, again, I'm still like, I don't know what's going on here. They're like trying to like possess her or what the fuck. Like, I don't know. And I should probably rewatch them all, like, so I understand better. But it didn't matter because I was just having fun with just being a little like prankster and doing these horrible kills. Yeah, so I had a good time with it. I thought it was actually like pretty funny at points too. Yeah, and a little tighter,
a little bit tighter. I still wasn't really sold on Art as a slasher antagonist at the end of 2, and this one I was like, yeah, he's getting up there. He's iconic. He is starting to, like, this one they really kind of let him go. Like, he is there's a lot of personality behind him. He is like, he's very funny as like a mime.
Yes,
and he does like the clown shit, and it works. It works real well.
Yeah, the guy that plays him is very good at it, and yeah, they like really, because he doesn't speak, like you said, he's basically a mime. They do the mime humor very well. It's like him reacting to what people are saying and stuff, and him messing with people. Yeah, a whole bunch of people. Yeah, some people showing up in this. Like, when he goes to a bar, there's Clint Howard is like sitting there, and the other guy, I know him. He's been in like Rob Zombie shit too.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene in the bar I thought was fun. I don't know, like I generally had a pretty fucking good time with it. I thought the gore, which has been like, again, I think it's the highlight throughout these movies. Even the first one is still fantastic here. Some really awesome kills, like huge props for the gore effects. Like, they're really, really like well done, and I liked it. So I don't know. You saw it too, right?
I did. I think I like it a little bit less than I like 2. But yeah, I'm coming around on it like more. It's like, for me, like, I'm still not like, oh, this is an awesome, like, it's a good modern slasher, and like, we don't have, I think somebody called it today, like, mascot slasher, like, which kind of checks out from like our gaming side of things, like, Freddy, Jason, Chucky, like, they're mascots in the way that, like, Sonic and Mario are mascots in games. And we haven't had one really in a long time. Like, the closest we probably came is like Billy, the tricycle guy from Saw.
Yes.
Like, and that's not really that's nothing. Like, Billy is just a fucking like creepy doll that rolls out. Like, he's not even the killer.
Or even if you wanted to say Jigsaw is like, he's a slasher icon. Like, I don't really consider Saw slashers. I don't know.
But like, that's the closest we've come to like another entry since Ghostface. Like,
and that's 20 years ago. Yeah. Like, so that part of it makes me like it. And also, like, so this is a tweet I saw from somebody I follow, and I agree with it. He's like, this is this generation's Phantasm. It's all one guy's fucking idea, and it's fucking out there, and you don't really know what's going on, but now I feel committed to, like, going through the series.
On board. Yeah,
like, and I agree with that. And, like, do I think Phantasm is the greatest thing ever? No, but do I think it's cool that this independent voice somehow, like, made it his mark? Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it is a neat series that is out there. Like, it definitely did not start off on the right foot for me. Like, I think, as I said, that first movie I think is bad. outside of the gore effects. But they've added more to it. They've done some story stuff that like I'm intrigued to see
Yeah.
where they're going. Like I don't
Yes.
necessarily care.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, I'm in for the Terrifier lore, but I kind of want to see what he's doing. Like, is he gonna pull
Exactly.
this off?
I know. I'm. That's how I feel about it. 100%. I'm like, I don't know if I don't even know if I 100% understand what's going on, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fun.
there's still things. I think like the younger brother is like not a good actor in it. Like,
It's fine. He's dead now.
yeah. But it really grew on me, like to the point where I'm like, I kind of want to get this one on 4K when it comes out because I just think it also feels to me it feels more like a film than the first two because it just like I feel like he's grown as a director with each film, and this
Well,
looks pretty cool.
and his budget has definitely grown
Yeah,
with each one. Like the first one was like really like low budget, and then the second one he did, I think it was like $500,000 or something like that. And this one he got a $2 million budget, and like it looks better.
yeah.
I don't know if he's editing it. I didn't check if
I
he
think
edited it
he
himself
did.
again.
I think he did.
I think that it still suffers a little bit from those problems that two had, but he didn't try
Yeah,
and make a 3 hour epic.
yeah,
It's a little bit tighter. Um, and yeah, it's fun to see him grow. It's fun to see the series grow, like as
yeah.
they get more and more, um, as he adds more to it. So it's
He
fun.
says he wants to end it with a part 5, so you can expect part 4 and 5, and that he wants them to be even shorter. So all good signs, and it's him saying that he wants to end it with 5 feels like he has like a little bit of a roadmap of what he wants to do with this crazy ass lore. But I'm in. I'll be there.
Yeah, as long as like, and I think I said this to you in like privately, in our private little chat, but like I wasn't like, oh man, like I still think the bedroom scene in two is just fucking wildly out there, and it's like, oh, it's some of the same stuff we just talked about where he like just scenes just go on, and that one
Yeah.
just gets like goes uncomfortably long.
Yeah, so I do remember it went long, but I just thought that some of the stuff he did here, I was like even more impressed by. Like even like I don't want to spoil like the biggest things, but like there's a kill early in the movie. He takes like a box cutter to the top of some guy's scalp, and then he like
Yeah,
totally scalps the guy, like pulls his whole fucking skin off his face. I was like, damn, dude. Like I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, I guess there's when you've done the things that you've done in 1 and 2. Like I don't know if there's necessarily any way to top them, but it continues to impress
yeah.
me.
Yeah, there's a kill in this one, and the genders are reversed, and the situation is reversed too. Like I think the
Yeah.
one in this one is way more. Everything's mean spirited, but the way Art is now portrayed, he is way more like an imp, like a fun
Yeah,
imp
yeah,
type character, as opposed to this sinister. He's still sinister, but like in the first one, he's definitely played as like this evil, mean, nasty clown, and now he's like kind of skipping around and shit,
yeah,
and so like there's a kill in the first one. It's pretty much it's the scene in the first one where it kind of like bisects somebody, and they kind of do that again here. It's just a little bit different, and I kind of called it as it was happening. Like,
yeah.
oh, I see what he's gonna do. But it's still fun. Like all of it's still
Oh, and
quite
like
fun.
not even like that part of it, but like he attacks the other person with, and you just see
Yeah,
the person getting damaged by a chainsaw, which like shit, man. I don't think any of the Texas Chainsaw movies have really shown me that. It's just like
no,
the
no,
chainsaw just kind of like hitting someone's face and taking part of their face is like, damn, dude. Like again, you could tell he spent like days and days and days shooting these scenes, like and coming up with how to do this. Like,
yeah. He said that like I think that shower scene took like multiple days of work. So
yeah.
it's hey, keep going. I mean, if you're going to go to 5, sure, I'm in. I'm in for the ride.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess I'm a fan now. So yeah, I enjoyed Terrifier 3, and it'll be like part of the Christmas rotation for sure because I do get the Christmas vibes in it a lot. Like I don't want to like spoil anything. Like just one last thing. There's a part at the end or near the end where something about the shot just made me laugh, and I don't think I was the only one. And it's just like Art sitting at a fucking bus station, all depressed looking. Like,
Yeah.
it made me laugh, and I was like, again, other people in the theater were laughing at it too. Like, I don't know why it was so fucking funny because it's just so absurd that you're supposed to like feel anything for this guy.
Yes. But as you know, it comes back to whoever's I don't know who is playing Art, but super emotive under all that makeup and just able to really express like comedic actions and like and emotion. Like he's able to like it's funny, but like he overhears there's a scene where he overhears like he's listening in on a conversation and like the boyfriend is like sounds like you want to fuck him or something, and he's like he goes back and he's like yeah, and he's like oh I don't want to fuck him, and he gets all sad and it's like it's hysterical.
Great, like funny. It's very funny. Like I don't know, everyone laughed at that. I'm like, as you can tell, like I really enjoyed it and I plan to buy it. So there you go. There's no higher endorsement than that.
I do wish that I had kind of experienced it like you did. That's how I experienced Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
And watching a horror film with a full audience that is engaged in the film just enhances the experience. I watched it on like Monday afternoon. There was 4 people in the theater, one of who was snoring when I walked into the theater. So it was like it was dead. Like nobody else is talking. Like, and it's way more fun if people are engaged and laughing and cheering.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad you got to experience it that way.
Yeah. Now I'll be back for opening weekends for that.
Anything else?
The other big theatrical release I saw was The Substance.
Yeah.
Which, for as much as we just talked about Terrifier, what a success it is, and blah, 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 I think The Substance is incredible. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, I think I said, like, my initial reaction to it, like, on Letterboxd or whatever, was like, this is a body, like, I felt like I was watching the next Cronenberg more than watching Cronenberg's son's films, because I was just like, holy shit, dude. Like, this movie just has style to spare, and it like really goes for it with the fucking body horror shit.
It has a really cool story too.
Yeah.
Like it's an engaging narrative from like to start off with. Like it hooks you in pretty quickly.
And it's despite the fact that like most of it is like one actor at a time, like just this character trying to figure out what she's doing. And I thought Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, both playing this character, were great. Like, I think they were both incredible. I mean, I have like a crush on Margaret Qualley, so that's part of it. But I think she's really good in it. I think Demi Moore is also really good in it. Like, I couldn't praise this enough. Right away I was like, Chris, you gotta see The Substance, man. It really like, I didn't want to oversell it, but like, it really goes for it, especially like near the end. It's just wild. There's some like crazy body horror visuals in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. And then it goes off the rail. Like, it kind of starts going off the rails anyway, like internally, but then it hits a point and it goes off the fucking rails.
Yeah, and I just didn't expect it to go as crazy as it did, and it was fantastic. Like, I loved, like, I actually went by myself because I knew I heard the buzz around this movie. I couldn't like line it up with my wife. She didn't give a shit. But I cannot wait to show her this, even though I know her must be like, okay. I just want to watch someone watch this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, big fan of The Substance.
Anything else?
The only other thing I wanted to mention is the TV show The Penguin, which is on HBO. It's like 4 episodes in.
Okay.
This is it's a spinoff of Matt Reeves' The Batman. Kind of picks up right after The Batman. So if you haven't seen it in a while, the end of that movie the Riddler, he does a terrorist attack to Gotham where he like blows up all these walls and floods the city. And among that, he also kills God, I can't remember his full name, but Falcone, the crime boss, played by John Turturro.
Mm-hmm.
So where this series picks up like a week after, there's still like missing signs all over the place. One of our main characters lost his parents in the flooding, and Penguin is, he's like this mid-level capo in the mafia. Like he worked for the Falcones. He had this club, and that was in the Batman. But he sees like an opportunity to assume power, and that's what this series is. But it's like this interesting, like, I mean, there's more to it than that. He teams up with this kid very randomly, but he sees something in this kid that that he recognizes in himself, and he wants. First of all, he just needs this kid. He's in a desperate situation, but then he keeps him around. He kind of like hires him as his driver, and that's kind of like the heart of the series. Outside of like him trying to assume power, and he's trying to play the Falcones and the Maronis against each other, and he's dealing with a lot with Falcone's daughter, who has just gotten out of Arkham Asylum after a stint there, and she could also be like trying to assume power. So there's all this like power play shit going on. The way a lot of people I saw describe it after the first episode was like it's Gotham Sopranos, which I guess is like an okay shorthand for it, but like I just don't think that's really fair to what The Sopranos is, or to what this show is. Like if you want, like that's an okay elevator pitch, but I just don't think that either of those shows are doing the same thing or are really about the same thing. But if you're one of those people who like you watch The Sopranos, it was all about like who's in power and who's gonna get whacked each week, I guess maybe. But that was never what that show was. Yeah, and like
I think people use The Sopranos as like shorthand for like
a short mafia.
Mob. Like yeah, and like I know The Sopranos is deeper than that, but I think that's probably what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, I guess that's why it's just like, yeah, I guess, but like this is, and it's not to say that there's nothing going on in this. There definitely is. There's a lot of really great character writing and drama in it. Like I find the Penguin to be a very compelling character in this. Is this guy who is handicapped and he just always kind of shit on, and he's seen as kind of a joke, who's had to, he hasn't had his life handed to him like the Falcone kids have, right? He is had to scratch and claw for everything he has, and that's always like a really fun, compelling type of character. And then to see him take someone under his wing and teach him that too, like you gotta like take everything in this world, with force. I think it is compelling crime drama. It's 4 episodes in. I think it's really, really good. Like a big recommend, and especially like if you liked the Batman, it's just so that world that we saw in the Batman, like this story happening inside it right after the movie. I think it's really fucking neat. And with a bit of the fallout of that movie. Where I'll land, I don't know how many be, and I don't know. I honestly don't know if they plan to do more than one season of it, or if it's supposed to be just a limited series. I have no idea. But
who's the Penguin? I'm drawing a blank on it. I know who it is, but
Colin Farrell. But you cannot see him in it or hear him in it. Like
yes, he basically said he kind of said that he does not want to play the Penguin anymore because like that makeup is fucking brutal. So
yeah.
Who knows if they'll I mean, if you back up a truckload of money to him, maybe, I'm sure, but anything's possible, but who knows?
So give you an idea of like the quality, in my opinion, is like Matt Reeves is not the showrunner. I mean, he's like a producer on it or whatever, but the showrunner is Craig Zobel, who did Chernobyl. So
Okay.
It's in good hands. It's HBO quality. It's definite recommend if you're into Batman at all or crime drama. Big recommends, at least so far.
All right.
Hopefully it plays out great.
Cool.
That's kind of it.
All right. Well, I've got a few here. Some that you've recommended to me over the past little bit. So we'll hit those first. I saw
Okay.
Rebel Ridge.
Oh yeah,
Um, this is the only kind of non-horror film I watched, I guess, in the last little bit. That was fun. I enjoyed that a
yeah.
lot. I think you said it's like a modern day First Blood kind of
Very
retelling. And yeah,
much. Yeah.
yeah, works really well as that. Um, really well acted. I didn't. I don't think I came around as much on the action as you did, but I liked it overall. I thought pretty good film. So
Well, I guess I could say now like why I loved the action, and what
Mhm.
I loved is I guess this isn't the only movie or thing that does this. I mean, I guess the Batman, Batman in general does this, but the fact that he like goes to lengths to make it non-lethal, I thought was like a nice surprise. I Because of this director who did Green Room, I was expecting like crazy gore and shit, but instead this movie is like, no, this character like is actually trained in like non-violent, or not non-violent, but non-lethal violence, I guess. And I was like a nice surprise. And they just have a lot of fun with that, where they're like, oh, he's the guy on the Wikipedia page and shit like that. Like I
yeah,
really like a lot of it is more like kind of like the standoff between him and Don Johnson, and I thought it was so fun, and it kind of like when it does ramp up and go crazy, it like just ends like you're kind of like breathless, like whoa, like okay, that's the end, I guess. Like I don't know, I'm a
yeah,
huge fan of it.
yeah. It's very good. And it's out there on Netflix. So if you have that, go watch it. Quite entertaining. Um, Couple other ones. These are all horror. I saw Arcadian, which you had recommended a
Yeah,
little bit back. I think you had kind of recommended you had advised it was, hey, what if The Quiet Place had Nick Cage?
yeah,
Like, and yeah, it's that. And it's like Nick Cage in a more reserved role. He's not crazy Nick Cage for most of it, and um, it's okay. The monsters though are really cool. They're really coolly
yeah.
designed, and they're smart. Like I thought that was neat. Like you find out that like they've been like they've been trying to like infiltrate the houses and attack, but oh why isn't it happening? It's because they've been digging around the fucking house. Like it's really cool like how they break that stuff down.
I just
Um
That was to me like the reason to see the movie was the monsters.
yeah,
Just
they're fun.
the look of them,
Otherwise,
like their mouths, the way their mouths would
yeah,
snap.
oh
Like,
yes. Yeah,
yeah,
they were like fucking velociraptors almost. Like
yeah.
yeah, they're really cool and but otherwise it is kind of like a poor man's
Yeah, it's
quiet
like
place.
it's a decent low budget movie. It's like I'd say a cut above like a lot of stuff that comes to Shudder. So like that was
Yeah.
why it stood out to me.
Yeah. Another one that you had recommended was Oddity. Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, I ended up liking that one too. Uh, it's one of those ones. It's like this is weird. It's a weird thing,
Yeah.
and like it's an oddity. Like it's really fucking strange. And as things slowly get revealed, as it progresses, it's like oh okay. Uh, and like weird shit happens, and it's a fun film.
Yeah. You don't want to like spoil too much of
Yeah,
like the surprise of it, but like the way I would see you as like an old EC Comics, I fairly like early figured out actually what was going on and why. I was like, oh, this is one of those movies about people getting their just desserts. Like that's what the
yeah,
whole movie is working towards, and I think it does that in a pretty fun way with a pretty like I think cool final shot that like I could picture as a final panel in a comic book. Like I just thought was neat. It's
yes,
like a special, really tiny movie.
yep, yep. Um, But it's another one. It's on Shudder. It's a fun one to go at. And then I saw Immaculate, which you already
Yeah,
recommended earlier this year. I really love that.
I was waiting for you to see that because I was like, that was my first thought seeing Immaculate was that's has Chris written all over it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's religious horror, and it's a really cool twist on it too, though, because like a lot of
mm-hmm.
religious horrors, like demons and shit like that, and exorcisms, and like yeah, some of that plays in here visually in some shots, but man, they like I don't want to spoil what the like
Yeah,
hook of it is, but
yeah.
it's really really cool. It's fucked up
It's
and
also
it's
like
fun.
wildly blasphemous, which I
Oh yes,
thought that you would
absolutely.
enjoy. I was
Yeah.
like, just knowing that like you're a big fan of like religious horror, to see one that is pretty well done, that is so blasphemous by the end, like I was like, oh, Chris is gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, that was it was really really fun. So had a lot of fun with that one. Um, and then real quick as well, I might as well just hit the other few that I saw. Salem's Lot. They did a new
Yeah,
Salem's Lot movie. I don't hate it like some people do, but it's not good. It's it's like one of those movies that it's like a B grade movie from the 80s. It just happens to be 2024. Like
yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I saw you say that. I saw someone else say that. Like it reminded them a lot of like the Stephen King TV adaptations you would get in the '90s, like
Yes. Yeah.
Tommy
Absolutely.
Knockers or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
which kind of intrigues me even
Yeah.
still.
I was fine with that. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you can do with Salem's Lot that like makes this a better movie. I think the problem with some Stephen King adaptations is like his books are great, but it's not necessarily because of the core story. I mean
Yeah,
that's fun, but it's always the character interactions and the depravity of the people in the town, and as we learn about them in it, like. And so when you condense it down to something that's 90 minutes, 2 hours, you're not getting that character
yeah.
interaction, and you don't have the attachment to those characters or like the hate to some of the characters when and it just doesn't
It's like
adapt great.
it's like needful things. That's hard to do as a
Yeah.
movie. If you want to see basically this, but done how you want, where you get to know the people in the town and their flaws and this and that. Midnight Mass is out there on Netflix, and still highly highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think the other thing about adapting Stephen King is that a lot of what makes his books great is the like internal like monologue
Yep.
going on and the way they think about things. Kind of hard to do in a movie, and then if you put it into like dialogue, it sometimes comes off hokey. But
Yeah.
I've been every time I like think about watching it, I just think about how like no one seemed to love it. Like even you were just like, I don't know, it's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
Fine. Like it's not a good movie, but like I was like fun enough. Like I don't hate that I spent the hour, 100 minutes or whatever it was watching it. Like I didn't hate it.
Lex G actually did a podcast review of this, and he talked a lot about how like it just seems like characters would come out of nowhere or storylines would get dropped out of nowhere, and everyone was kind of noted like it was clearly cut from a longer cut, which I don't know
Yes.
why they didn't just offer the longer cut. It says it's going straight to streaming. I don't get it.
Well, it's Warner Brothers, right? So they want to fuck everything up. It's just wild that like
can't make a good decision. Yeah,
yeah, it's wild that like this is the one that they put out, right? Like you had that Batgirl movie with Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. Like people would have watched that, like just
yeah.
for that reason. And you were like, "Nah, we're gonna shelve that shit." But you're gonna put like this mediocre Salem's Lot remake out, like whatever. Yeah, that's there. I saw another film called Azrael. with I think it's Samara Weaving. Is that her name?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This one, I was like, like I saw a trailer for it. It's like the trailers don't. Sometimes they give too much away. Sometimes they don't give enough. But I was like, the imagery here looks cool. It's interesting. It's a cult film, and it is almost 100% no dialogue.
Okay.
Because the cult, you'll quickly learn that they've like they don't talk, and they've cut out the tongues, or they've cut out, not the tongues, they've like cut out the vocal cords of the people in the cult and those around them, so they can't scream
Yeah.
because they
Uh-huh.
hear
Okay.
things out in there's monsters in the woods, and they can hear you. And there's like one character who's like, you know, he picks up Samara Weaving's character at one point in a car because she's like wandering in the woods, and he speaks, but he's speaking the entire thing either in Spanish or Portuguese, and she doesn't understand him either, and the whole thing is fucking wild. The fact that like this 90-minute film, or 80, I think it's like 86 minutes long, and it's engaging from start to finish. Like, it's not great, but I was intrigued by everything that was happening. And there's some brutal kills in it as well. So I don't know if I would not rush out to the theaters. It was just one that was like, oh, this is playing, I have time, I'm gonna go hit it, and I did, and I think it's gonna be coming to Shudder at some point.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised by it. Like that was neat. And also, Samara Weaving has kind of become like a scream queen for the modern age, and to have her in a film where like she cannot scream, like she does not yell. She does like it's entirely silent from her. Interesting concept, I think.
This is one I saw somebody mention in like one of my groups on Facebook, which is where I would find things like Oddity. Unfortunately, I've been kicked off of Facebook, so I'm gonna have to like, I don't know, deep dive into Reddit or something to find like a group. Like some of these like things I find, like Oddity, was solely because people kept talking about it in this this group I was in.
Yeah,
And it's all gone now because fucking Facebook is.
that sucks.
But
One
yeah.
more real quick. Apartment 7A. You heard about
Yes,
this one?
I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it.
So it's a Rosemary's Baby prequel
Yeah, sure.
that nobody needed.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think anybody was like
Nobody
clamoring
wanted.
for
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and I don't think it's particularly good. It looks beautiful. I think the acting is actually really good. It's just a really boring fucking story until like the last 10 minutes of this film. It's too long, and it's tied to Rosemary's Baby. Is like the main character in this, she is briefly seen in Rosemary's Baby, and then she commits suicide. Or that's what they say. And so this is like the lineup to that, to her dying. And you get to see the events of it, and that, like, the entire apartment is cult like, and they've been trying to bring back the devil, which through Rosemary's Baby. I don't know. It's nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
It's really, really dull. Like, it's just really boring.
It got no buzz. Nobody talking about it. I know some people seen it, but yeah, it just got no buzz. Also, like, yeah, what? See, like a prequel to Rosemary's Baby. I don't know. It seems
Absolutely unnecessary.
It just seems like it hasn't been in the culture like something like The Exorcist has. Like, at least there's been sequels to The Exorcist and stuff. I don't think I've seen Rosemary's Baby since I was a kid, which also was funny that I would watch Rosemary's Baby as a kid. But yeah,
Yeah.
It's been so long. I just remember. I know what happens, right? Like, I remember that. But.
Yeah. Nothing here worthwhile though. But I have all these streaming services, and when they pop something new on there, it's like, oh
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like, why why is Paramount dropping a full-on, horror prequel to an iconic film? Like, no buzz. They're just like, it's out now. Like, that's weird. I'm gonna watch this weird thing, and here's why, because it's not good. So, that's it. So, I do have, before we get into it, Jeff, I do have a question. This came up on something I was listening today. Do you have a line that, like, for horror, that's like, you know, you can't cross this? Like, this is like what you like. This is the thing that, like, you just can't deal with in horror. Do you have a line?
No, and if like I figured out what it was, I would love to see something cross it. So that's where I'm at.
I think like I'm just like there are like subgenres I do not enjoy. I think we've talked about like the kind of like the female rape revenge stuff. Like, I'm not I don't like that stuff, but I will watch them.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think
I
I
don't
have
think
a
I have a
line
line.
either.
If there is, again, I'm stepping over it.
Yeah, it's like that's
I'm a
kind
line
of
stepper.
I think that's horror, and like for people that
Mhm.
really like horror, that is like, you
That's what
want
it's
to get
about.
to that line, and you want to say, can I go past it? Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I have a line
Hey,
either.
here's
At
the
least
line. Click the For You tab on fucking Twitter and have fun. There you go, buddy. You'll see there. You want to see someone fucking die and like get wrapped into a fucking piece of machinery, and it's fucking real. Like, yeah, it's. And you know what?
yeah,
That's what it is. Like, I don't want to see that shit, but like when I click the For You tab, they like push it towards me, because if I do see that, I'm going to look, because I'm like, it's like I have that problem where if like you see a wreck, I have to turn my head and look.
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't control it. So like I've seen every horrible imaginable way someone could die at this point, and I think it's horrible. Like, it's awful, and I don't think that should be like on Twitter, but like. Even there, that's a line I'll still cross. Like, okay, what's this? Yeah,
Yeah, I think like real stuff. I think that's like, but
that's
again,
baby.
like
Yeah,
you, I will like. All right, I don't
yeah,
want to watch this. I really shouldn't
yeah.
watch this, but I'm going
Exactly,
to.
exactly.
All right. Well, let's get into our double feature here. We got a pair of anthology films that we mentioned last time out. A film called 1031, which is the date of it's the date of Halloween, October 10th month 31, the day of Halloween. And that's one, and then the other one is the latest VHS movie called Beyond. We're going to start off with 1031, which is the older of these two.
Welcome to my Halloween Monster Marathon with me, your host, Malvolia, the Queen of Screams. Does he always wear that mask?
All the time.
Definitely a good way to cap off Halloween night.
I don't have any candy.
All those naughty kids love their Halloween.
The Scarecrow. It's still here.
Run, Mikey! Run!
Uh, 1031. It's I mentioned, anthology film. came out in 2017. Directed by a bunch of different people because it's an anthology movie. So there's four shorts, I believe. One, two, three, four, five shorts. Five shorts in 1031, and we're going to go through them, one by one here. Like a lot of these anthology films, this kind of has a wraparound, I guess, where we meet Malvolia. She's the scream queen or something. She's kind of
your
like
horror host or your
yeah,
keeper.
Yeah. Who's the Elvira?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that one. Like just kind of like a very iconic seductress from like the 70s, 80s type thing. I think that whatever this wraparound beginning and end is useless. It's nothing. So we'll skip into that. The first one though is called It's called The Old Hag.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. This one's fine, I guess. How did you kind of come across with this first of the anthology stories?
I think it was one of the high points of the movie.
Okay.
But I wasn't like, if to me it felt like a short story you would read in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Which I guess a lot of anthology horror would kind of feel like that, but it felt a little young adult. I like the idea of a demon that they kind of compared it to sleep paralysis, like it's a sleep paralysis demon, except that it is actually real. I thought this one was like story wise, maybe one of the better of the bunch. You didn't?
It was fine. Like I wasn't really the premise here. Sorry for not hitting that. The premise is like these two guys. They are filmmakers. They show up at this like Airbnb type thing, but bed and breakfast type little motel thing, run by this older woman, and she wants to bring new people in, so she needs to have a commercial made, and it's kind of goes through. They're going through the commercial aspect of filming it, and one of them starts seeing like weird shit happen, and then the other guy doesn't, and the owner is kind of just being a little cagey about things. And as things progress, like they end up having to stay there overnight, and that's where this demon kind of comes and murders them.
Oh.
And it's because there's a hook with the owner. She has to, I guess, sacrifice two people or two souls once a year so that she can rest.
Yeah, so the hag will leave her alone. The hag tucks her in. Yeah. I mean,
story-wise, it's fine, right? Like I don't think there's anything wrong with story-wise, but
I think
in terms of
comparing it to the rest, I don't know.
Okay,
we'll see how you feel about the rest.
Yeah. So, I came away. I was like, it did not start off strong for me, and then they move into this short called Trespassers. So it's a little bit kind of slow, but I thought there was kind of like an 80s kind of vibe to it. And where were you on Trespassers?
It's all right. I think story wise, this is also one of the better ones. We get to hear this little legend. This couple's gonna go check it out. It's actually real, and takes some okay twists and turns for a short story. That's how I mean.
Yeah, it's they're out on a date and they go out into this field, And it's one of those like, hey, here's like the urban legend of this local. This is the local legend of like, this is haunted and some murder happened out here. Everyone knows of like that area in your hometown that kind of has this. And I thought this one was kind of fun though. Like, there's a cursed scarecrow. It's amateurish. It looks amateurish, but this is it's kind of like a low budget kind of film. The acting isn't great, and like everything's kind of a bit cheesy in this one too, like even more so than the first one. But it kind of has. I thought it had like a fun vibe to it that I was like, yeah, this is a good time.
Yeah, sure, I'll give you that.
Then the third one coming in is called Killing the Dance. This one is it's a girl. She's having some trouble with her mom, and she works at a roller skating rink. And I think this one could go. I have a feeling you hated this one, Jeff.
Yeah.
And I came out going like, it's kind of fun. Like I enjoyed like the 80s music going on. And anyway, there is this she's in a relationship. She's gonna skip town, and throughout this whole thing, you kind of find out that there's like a killer coming out, and it turns out it's her mom at the very end of it.
Yeah.
But, I kind of had a good time with it. Like I thought, like color wise, everything looked good. Like
I am shocked.
I came away going like I like this one, and I was like, Jeff is gonna absolutely.
It's funny that you pegged me. I think this is where the movie falls off a fucking cliff. Like I just this thing, it goes on and with these endless shots of people fucking skating around this rink for fucking ever. And like I didn't really have a sense. I'm like, she's got like some scumbag boyfriend, but she's leaving with some other girl. Like I was like, I was like, unfortunately to the maybe not fair to this film, starting to zone out here because I was just like, what is this? And it totally lost me here. But honestly, I don't know. I think it's I thought it was bad. And
that's fine. Like I figured that this would be one that you were like, I don't like this one at all. It's definitely there's like a weird art house vibe to it. And I was like, I'm into this. Like I think it might have just been like I think it's better shot than the other two. Actually, I think it's better shot than maybe all of the other ones. And I kind of like the vibe. I like a roller skating rink, like this weird thing that's happening for this one. Yes, true. Not surprised that you came away from that going. This is not a good one. Then we got the one I think is maybe the worst one. The Halloween Blizzard of '91.
Yeah.
This is Halloween is happening. Kids are trick or treating. Well, not really, but like it's Halloween. They're supposed to be trick or treating, but this big snowstorm has come in, so like they kind of shut down early. And they do get some trick or treaters. It just so happens that they are these like murderous little imps, goblin type things.
Yeah.
That are dressed up and they're going to kill everyone. And also Santa Claus is involved fucking somehow.
Yeah.
And he knows, if you're naughty or nice, and like evidently he wants to kill all the adults, but also if you're a bad kid, he's not going to bring you with him. You get to join the Halloween team of murderers, and if you're a good kid, you get to go with Santa.
Okay, all right. Let me give you my notes for that one. Family Halloween, forever setup. Kids go to bed.
It takes forever.
Kids go to bed. Mom sees scary trick or treaters in house. Santa's in the bedroom, boys' bedroom. Question what happened in that one. That was my notes.
Laying with the kid in the bed, and like the dad, instead of opening the door, is like, it's like, you should go to bed. It's like, who are you talking to? Like Santa? Like, no, just go to bed. Like, what the fuck? Like you could just open the door. Your kid's like 8. Like, what are you doing?
he's not doing anything.
And there's a weird like there's a weird subplot, which is strange to say, because like they don't go anywhere with it, but I guess it's implied that the sister of the wife has had an affair, or at one point may have like hooked up with the husband, because like there's this weird interaction outside in the hallway. But it doesn't go anywhere. It's like, why is this here? Like, it just cuts the flow really, and it took, as you said, took forever for anything to fucking happen in it. It's just them talking and like about Halloween and work, and it takes forever for these little trick-or-treaters to actually show up and start causing mayhem. And the mayhem they cause is weak. Like, it's not particularly good.
Yeah.
And then finally it's the Samhain slasher, which is like it's a pretty standard kind of Halloween, themed thing. Like, hey, they're teenager wants to go to a party. Oh, there's a something. There's a serial killer on the loose, so like we don't want you to go out, and he goes out anyway, and bad shit happens, and ends up being I think everybody ends up being murdered in that one. I don't know. I kind of lost track of this one. Like,
Same
just kind of like
here.
really generic.
It was like that you described where it's ultimately going. It's just kind of a slasher thing, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's so much extraneous shit where I'm just like it starts off where he has a dream of his wife committing suicide in the bathtub, and then he wakes up from it, and I'm like, what the fuck? What did that have to do with anything? And then like, I think it ends with the guy waking up, and you're like, was that all a dream? What happened? But then no, he gets killed too. And yeah, I don't know. Didn't do anything for me. I don't know.
Yeah, like that's like, oh, we're gonna tack on this family drama and all this family stuff, but we're not actually gonna explain any of it. And the serial killer is not gonna actually have a tie to any of that. It's just he's just gonna kill you.
He's just a killer, and he's gonna kill you. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, I think after the first 2, this one fell off a cliff big time. Like none of the last 3 I thought worked at all.
Hit for you, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, like all anthologies, you're gonna have some that are okay and some that are not great. I think that this one, I mean, it's relatively short. Like, it's not.
It is, thankfully. Yeah, it's like I think under an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like these are short stories, which I think some of what we've explained here. Maybe they try to pack a little too much into them, like instead of just getting to it.
They're padding them out. Like, even like the first, I don't know how it ends up being like an hour and a half. Because like the first one I looked at when it was done, it was like 22 minutes. I was like, shit. Okay. Yeah. How are you going to fit all this into fucking an 80 something minute movie? They somehow do. Also, they just feel like random elements. Like, again, this is pretty amateur. Yeah. And yeah, like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amateur, low budget, independent horror anthology. I didn't hate, but like I don't think it's particularly good either. But I didn't hate it. Like, yeah, it's just kind of exists. Like, it is what's Trick or Treat?
Like
one. It is not. It's no Trick or Treat. It's no All Hallows Eve. And it's not even VHS.
Exactly.
Especially not the good ones. Like,
and I don't think VHS is Trick or Treat. Like, you get very few creep shows and Trick or Treats, and a lot of it is, not as good.
But it's out there. I think it's fine if you were looking for something that kind of fits the vibe of spooky season and you want something short story wise. This is fine. There are definitely better anthologies. Somehow this got 2 sequels.
Yeah, I saw that.
I have not. They're on my like list to kind of like poke at this month, but I have not gotten to them yet. But I am just surprised that like somehow they have 2 more.
Is this a Tubi like production? Because that's where I saw it. It almost makes you
it's
wonder.
I don't think it is because I don't think part 3 is on Tubi.
I thought I saw it on there.
Or maybe it just got added. I've seen it on other. It's on another service too, though. It's on what is that? The Screenbox. I think
maybe it's
also
maybe
on there. Yeah, it could be because they do some low budget garbage too. So not to like say it's completely garbage. I think it's fine for what it is. I'm going to be much more generous with it than I would be with some of the other shit we've watched this year.
Okay.
But, final thoughts on 1031 though, Jeff?
Look, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Halloween theme, but this is just like too amateur of a production for me. Like when movies look and sound and are acted like this, like I just can't. Like I just don't like them usually. Like if I watch some low budget 80s for whatever reason, I could deal with that look because that looks more like a real film to me even then than this. Like this just looks like some who bought some off the shelf equipment and thought they knew how to make a movie. Again, I'm not trying to be mean because I didn't hate it, but like I'm just trying to describe like this type of look and this type of acting. I just can't. Like I think most people who would turn this on would probably turn it off pretty quickly, and I think they'd be right to do so because I don't feel like they would be missing anything. Like I don't think any of the stories here or any of like the effects or anything that happens was anything that I was like I could recommend to somebody or like really. Again, I thought the first 2 stories were okay, like almost on paper, where I was like I could see. Like I thought they were decently written as stories, but even those I thought were like pretty poorly made. And so again, I don't hate it. I'm not trying to be mean to the movie. Like it's fine that it exists, and I wish people luck. Like, obviously, they were able to make sequels out of this, so good for them. But for me, it's just like easily skippable, and I wouldn't have stuck with it if it weren't for doing the show. So I'm gonna go. It's gonna sound harsh, but like 3.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Just didn't do it for me.
I understand. I've also, I know I've subjected you to a lot of like shitty low budget horror over this year. I could definitely see where you're coming at. I've seen so much worse. Like some of the Amityville stuff is like
worse
somebody
than
with
this?
their
Like,
fucking eye. Yeah, absolutely worse than the
like just
oh
production wise.
Production wise,
wow.
Like I always look back at a film that we watched years ago for Movie Dudes, 5 Across the Eyes. Remember that one?
Found
yeah.
footage. Yeah.
And like, but just like so amateurishly done that it's just like borderline like incomprehensible.
Yeah,
I've seen like there's a lot of films that I've watched, like the Amityville stuff, especially the later Amityville stuff, which is that I don't know how they've gotten a budget to make anything. And like this is better than that, so it's like, all right, I don't hate this. Like somebody's trying to do something. Some of it worked. I enjoyed the first 3. I think I enjoyed I didn't really like the first one. I enjoyed the second and third ones, and then the 4th and 5th shorts I did not like. But as I said, it's like one of those things where it's like you're going to come into an anthology, you're not going to like everything, and it's like these are fine. Like I don't hate them, and I think they are better production wise and better acted than some other shit I've seen. So I did not hate it. I don't love it, but I'm gonna come in at a 5 for this one.
Okay.
And then we're gonna jump right over to VHS Beyond, and this is VHS is a long running series now. This is the seventh VHS movie.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, seventh movie. Seventh of these VHS movies. They kind of started almost about a little over a decade ago in 2012, and they get some big names to do some work here. I think the first one had Ty West working on one of the shorts. And this one has Mike Flanagan writing one of the shorts. We'll get to that one shortly. But they get people, and they market them really well. They come out on Shudder now. I think Shudder may produce them at this point.
It's like a Shudder series now. Yeah, like a yearly, which is like, cool. I think it's cool. Like, I kind of dig the VHS series, and so it's kind of cool that Shudder has like a new VHS coming out every year.
Yeah, so since 2021, they have released one every year. Just funny because like it went like 2012, 2013, and 2014. Then it went 7 years before we got another one.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess, Shudder picked up the license, and they've been producing them ever since. And I think they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
Over the last little bit. Last year was 85, so everything was kind of like deemed to the 80s.
I think that was the best one, maybe, because it had the two stories that like interlocked.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the one that like starts off like it's like these people like kind of just going on like fishing and drinking and stuff, like a bunch of young kids, and they were like recording it in the 80s, and it goes wild, and then like that ties into another story later, which is also really good. So like I think that might be my favorite of the series, honestly.
Yes. Yeah, they did. I thought that one did a really good job, and also the vibe of 85 was great.
Yeah.
But like that was what the last three have all kind of been like themed to a time period: 94, 99, 85. This one, VHS Beyond, is the latest one, and
everything that we thought we knew is called into question. Maybe we're not alone. Maybe our company does not wish us well.
Biggest discovery in human history.
These tapes have to be considered the Holy Grail.
I know we all want to put an end to this. Tonight we get our chance.
Just keep filming.
Do you want a selfie?
I think you could probably infer from both the poster and the title that they've moved away from the time period, and the theming here is going to be kind of like weirdly alienish. For the most part, And I don't know if that was a great choice.
Yeah.
For the most part. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shorts here. And yeah, six shorts over this abduction. And I'm trying to find my notes here.
It's like
Yeah,
the
so
wraparound.
yeah,
It's like
abduction and adduction is like the kind of like the wraparound thing, like
which is like it plays like I always think of that show Sightings from the 90s, which I'm sure nobody has any fucking clue what I'm talking about. But I know that there's like on History Channel now or whatever channels, like there's these shows where like they're like basically like talking head documentaries, but it's about alien bullshit.
yes,
And that's kind of what this is. I kind of dug the wraparound because of that, like because some of the shorts are bad in this, I think. And so when I just come back to someone talking some bullshit about like some of the alien shit that they talk about is like stuff that's like real, like or that like not real, whatever. Like it's something that's been documented in history that people believe in, and like
yes,
I just felt like I was watching one of those dumb shows, which coming out of like some of the shorts in this was like better than watching the short. If that makes any sense.
yeah, no, absolutely. It's I think some of the framing in VHS has been maybe not great over the time,
Yeah.
and this is one of the better ones, I guess. Maybe
I don't know. I really dug some of the last few, like I think it would have been the last one. They had that like a weird. It was almost similar type like documentary TV show about. I think it was like a boy with like powers or something.
yeah,
But yeah, that's the wraparound. It adds up to like nothing. It's just like, oh, here's some footage at the end of an alien abducting someone.
yes.
I don't-
So yeah, it's not like, but it's at least kind of like fun, and it hits that vibe of like,
It's a nice
hey,
break.
weird alien shit.
Yeah.
The first real short though is called Stork. And this one's directed by somebody named Jordan Downey. It is a bunch of like cops, I guess. Like they're going into a house looking for a bunch of missing babies. They've gotten a report that they're in this house. And this is just a weird action kind of zombie-ish. Like we're fighting off these like zombie creatures, and it's a SWAT unit in a house type scenario.
Yeah, it's I guess okay start because it's kind of like balls to the wall action, and then you get the goofy ending where it's like you see the stork and you like understand what is happening, like how these zombies are being made.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was in the middle on it. I was okay. Like I was just like, that's out there. That's a weird concept.
it's a weird premise. Yes, it's just
Yeah.
and I think what this one maybe does better than some of the stuff in 1031 is that it's very tight. Like, here's our premise, here's what we're doing. We're not going to add a bunch of extraneous bullshit to it. I didn't come away from like, oh, that was like super cool and I love it, but I also was like,
It was straightforward. Got to the act again. It was like mostly action. That's fine. Nothing. I don't think this is one of the standouts for me, but it was fine.
yeah. So the Stork, fine.
Yeah.
Then brings us to Dream Girl, which is it kind of takes place in India, and it is these two, I guess, paparazzi. I guess you call them.
They're like trying to sneak into like this Bollywood production, this big new star, right?
Yeah, and trying to get photos of her on set, and they sneak into her trailer, and It turns out that some weird shit starts to happen there.
Yeah.
And it turns out that is she a robot? Like,
I could do. That's one of my notes. Wait, is she a robot or something? Or
okay.
a mod? That's my notes. She
Okay,
has like the
so
red eye, like the Terminator. You know?
yeah, like that's why I was like, oh, so she's like an android or something.
I have no idea, but like they also make it out like she's a demon. I don't know.
Yeah, this one's weird. I didn't like it. There's not really
I
a
didn't
whole
either.
lot going on.
No. I thought like honestly, at first I was very intrigued by the setup because we're in a kind of a different setting. I like the idea of paparazzis like trying to go into this movie set. Like, where is this going? And then it turns out it's going nowhere. Like, it's just like, oh, the monster's going to pop out of the box, and that's it. Like, I don't. It took like again an intriguing premise, or not even, I don't know. Yeah, kind of an intriguing premise, cool setting, and then just like it was honestly, I thought one of the low lights of sucks because I thought it had potential, but it just went nowhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so she's either a robot or a demon. It's unclear, and then she
Yeah, that
kills
tells
everybody.
everybody. Yeah,
That's it. Like that is that entire short. It
that's
takes
honestly
way too
like
long.
the first one ends up being more interesting in the end because you're like, ooh, what is this creature? You know, like here it's just like it's nothing. Okay, she's some sort of I don't know. She's
Just
bad.
something that
Yeah.
kills. Like that's it. It just doesn't do anything. Yeah, I did not like this one either. Just didn't really work. Which brings us, I mean, there's just like all throughout this, there's like these little interludes, as Jeff said, about the like little alien kind of documentary type shit that's going on, which some of that is actually
This is literally, let me give you my notes. The end of the second one. Dumb. And then I wrote, every time it goes back to the fake documentary on aliens, I'm more interested.
like, yeah, I could definitely see like, oh, I'm kind of into this like weird fake alien documentary as opposed to this. All right. So then we got the next short is called Live and Let Dive. This is it's a guy, his wife, and a friend, and a bunch of like other friends. They all go skydiving for this dude's birthday, and just as they're getting ready to jump out, kind of like something flies by, looks like an alien spaceship, very clearly, and some fighter jets chasing after it. And then an alien kind of jumps onto the fucking plane, and they all jump out at that point. Some of them like are not able to deploy their parachutes and die straight up, but hitting the ground. And others get injured. Some of them are able to land, and they're in like this orchard type grove area.
I don't know. Or yeah, an orange grove.
Yeah. And then it's kind of like becomes like one of those ones where it's like, oh, we gotta find the survivors, and like there is something in this orange grove with them, and it happens to be fucking killer aliens.
Yeah. And then it just becomes action, like just running around and crazy shit happening.
Yeah. I think this is where the you can see that these are all still kind of like they're short. Generally, they're not like super big budget, but like
There's some budget here. Yeah,
there's a budget. Like there's these aliens look like fucking aliens, right? Like they have a cool design to them. It's pretty simple, like overall, but I think you ended up liking this one a little bit more than I did.
I love this one.
Okay.
I like because you're like in the first minutes of it when there's people getting ready to skydive, you have a main character just kind of recording everything, and he's like afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of planes. I would never skydive. So you're starting me in a situation that like is scary to me, and then you're like stacking insanity on top of it. Like just all of a sudden it's fucking World War fucking like War of the Worlds. With these skydivers caught in the middle of it, and then it's like turns into like fucking crazy Call of Duty on the ground, and then dude like gets his fucking finger blown off, and he's trying to drive a truck, and I think that was actually like when it runs into like a redneck who's driving around the grove. He's like, "What the fuck you doing? You need to get the fuck out of here." He's like, "No truck, you gotta let me. I swear to you, there's something." And then the redneck I think shoots him. And he gets his finger like blown off. It's kind of like hanging off.
Yeah.
And then then the alien kills the redneck, and he's driving around. I just like this. Like it had enough of a little setup that by the time I got to like the action, I was like, I just found it such a unique premise. I thought it was just like cool. Seeing this like alien ship appear outside of these people that are about to skydive, and then like you see the fighter jets fly past going after it. I dug it. I forgot where it ended up though. Did it end up with
the UFO like Zach? That he's the only one that was left alive.
He gets abducted.
Yeah, he gets the whole truck gets sucked up by the
UFO. Yeah. This is like I don't know. I don't know if I put it like a top 5 VHS segment for me, but like in this film, it's my favorite easily.
Okay. Well, my favorite is the the next one. Directed and written by Christian Long and Justin Long, who's been doing quite a bit of horror the last little bit. This one's called Fur Babies, and it kind of follows a couple people that they are going into this called the Doggy Dream House, and it's like a doggy daycare. But like these people think that like bad shit's going on there, so they're going undercover to find out what's up. And what's up is fucking weird, man. Like, this lady, she keeps lying. Like they keep catching her in lies. Like, oh, nobody else lives here. Nobody else is here with me. But then her brother's at the table, and they are going on this whole tour, and they get led downstairs, and she kind of like shows them like zones in the area. Like this is where the bad dogs go, and if you bad dogs there, they get punished, and like this is a little weird. And then she reveals that like she knows all along that they're here trying to like do an expose on her, and she's going to shut them down. And what she means by I'm going to shut you down is she's going to kidnap them and turn them into like human dogs. Like where she trains them, they're still humans, but she's going to train them to fucking be dogs.
Now that I think about it, didn't Justin Long work with? Wait, was Justin Long in Tusk?
Yes, he was. He's the fucking walrus.
He's fucking ripping off Kevin Smith. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this one's fun. It's weird. It's goofy.
I think what really there's something weird about like I'm a dog person, but there's just something weird about the dog people.
Yes,
plays into that, and I think that what really makes it work is her performance, like the crazy lady. Like it just she seems like a dog lady, but then she's turning that to evil. Really fun.
She's like a super crazy dog lady. Yeah. Fucking wild. And then it has an awesome final kind of like scene.
Oh my god,
it,
dude.
Where like some like the packages, they get left on people's steps, and then like you have these people that try to steal shit. Like porch pirates or whatever. And one of them is trying to steal one of her packages. Fucking one of these human dog hybrids like has a camera, like a GoPro attached to its neck, and you just watch it kind of like chase after this dude. mauls him to death. And then
What?
she like gives him like a little like treat.
What made I don't know why, but the thought of him like when he busts through the doggy door, the fact that she has like a human-sized doggy door for this guy to like jump through, I started fucking howling. I was like literally laughing out loud. I was just like, I was having fun, but it's just a really fun line to it. I don't know why. It's just funny to me. It cracked me up big time. And it's a good ending to the short.
Hysterical. For so far, like, out of this, I was like, I haven't been in love with any of the shorts up until this point, but Fur Babies got me going. Like that was it was the best thing I saw in the entire out of the 5 there. And then that brings us to Stowaway, which I was really looking forward to. This was written by Mike Flanagan, who we mentioned a little while ago in the show, because he is kind of like the brains behind the Haunting of Bly Manor and
Midnight Mass, baby.
Midnight Mass, all of that stuff that's been going on there. Plus, he's also done like some good film stuff as well.
He is like the go-to Stephen King guy now, like how Frank Darabont was for a while. Like he just gets how to tell Stephen King stories.
He did a really good adaptation of Gerald's Game. He did a excellent adaptation of Doctor Sleep.
Yes.
So yeah,
and
this is the guy I'm into.
I'm a fan of him. I'm telling you, Chris, you gotta see Midnight Mass, man. Like it takes a while to get going, but fuck, man, it is so good. So I can see why you're looking forward to the short. His wife directed it. What's her name? Kate Siegel.
Kate Siegel, yeah.
Yeah. And she's been in like almost all of his projects.
And actually, I don't know her personally, but I know the actress who was in this. Alana Pierce, she used to work for IGN, so I kind of know her from there. So it's like, oh, actually, I'm watching it. I didn't know she was in this. Yeah. I'm like watching it, and I'm like, she looks fucking familiar. And then I was like who? And like look it up. I'm like, oh shit! Like she used to like host the IGN Daily Show. This is a weird fucking one. So Alana Pierce plays this woman who she's documenting extraterrestrial encounters in the desert. She kind of talks to some people that, they saw some lights, whatever, blah blah blah. And then she sees lights in the sky, and she goes to investigate it, and she finds a ship. And she goes into the ship, and then weird shit starts to happen. And man, this fucking thing is so dull and boring and just not good.
It so surprised me that it came from them. Like, I was like, oh, which one did because they show you at the end who did what, and I knew that that team had done one, and I was like, oh, that's probably gonna be the best one easily, right?
Yeah,
and I think it was the worst one.
Yeah, maybe
it was like you saw the Outwaters and wanted to copy that, and I was just like, really? Okay, like staring at a wall for fucking like in the dark for like most of the end of this. That's not very exciting. Like I tolerated it once with the Outwaters, and I gave that movie some praise, but it really felt like they were ripping that off, and I was like, I don't know how many times you can do this. Like,
and I think there's there didn't really touch on it, but she like cuts herself, and there's like these like little nanites that come out and start to heal her. Like they heal the cut. But what you find out is that the ship. I guess you don't actually find this out, but like the ship has like other stuff that's been copying its DNA, and it's because of that it's now rewriting her DNA. So she starts like having these mutations
Yeah.
but because it's a found footage, and she's shooting the footage, you don't really get good shots of the body horror that is
Yeah.
implied to be happening to her. And I think if there was another person there, or if it what this one may have like something to it. It's just this was not the format for
You're in the dark, staring at nothing.
Yeah.
I felt
You're gonna do like
for,
this body horror thing. It just doesn't work.
and honestly, I was maybe zoning out because I didn't pick up on any of the shit you're saying. I just noticed that she was in a spaceship and weird shit, and the end. Like, it was like, wow, that's a dull note to go out on for this. Like, put a sour taste in my mouth about the whole fucking thing.
I caught when she cut herself, and like, oh, like there's like these nanobots that come out, like that's neat. And then she starts mentioning that like, she's these things are changing her. Like she's like, like things are happening. But I guess we also should notice that like the spaceship takes off and goes to space, so she's in space as well. They don't really go on that, and it just kind of ends with her being these nano machines like kind of still working on her, and she's in some sort of pain because of this stuff. But then it's just over, it just ends. It's like really just doesn't work.
Yeah,
so that's it.
And then you get the wraparound, which we already touched on how it ended, which is
Yeah.
Here's some spooky footage of a abduction or whatever.
Which is better than that last one,
yes.
Stowaway. So,
and you've gone to the well so many times in this one movie with the people getting abducted by. I mean, I get that's the theme.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, so I do wonder if when you have like 94, 99, 85, and then like your previous ones weren't really,
They were like contemporary.
Yeah,
they were just it was just they would try to like do wraparounds and shit. Should have just said 86, bro. Just start going from there.
But like your themes were based around time period, and now you have this theme that's based around space or aliens, and like I don't necessarily know it works as well as just like, hey, do some like cool horror shit in the 80s, or do some cool horror shit in the early 90s or early 2000s. It's like, do some cool horror shit with aliens is like very limiting. And like, to me, like the best one in this didn't have any fucking aliens. It
was the one that like didn't fit with the theme.
Yeah.
Also, like, just like, are you into like alien shit, or is that like not?
I do. I mean, I like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I guess I mean, I don't know. I'm not necessarily into like alien abduction shit. Like, so
I was as a kid, like in the 90s, big time. Like I believed,
Fire in the Sky, Jacob's Ladder, that type of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
yep. Sightings
okay.
was my news program as a kid.
So yeah, I can see where maybe this hits a little bit better for you, where it's like, I like sci-fi stuff, I like space stuff, but it ends up being more like Event Horizon or Alien, as opposed to gray aliens from Mars in their space saucer.
Yeah, I'm fascinated as an adult now. I'm fascinated by that 90s kind of view of aliens, where that was like the idea of like they're coming to abduct you, and they're little gray men, and like I'm fascinated by it now as a phenomenon of like everyone, like it's weird that so many people believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against the theming of this. I just personally don't think this is as good as the last few. That's all. Like, it's just,
that could be it too. Like it could just might not be the theming. It just might be that like most of these shorts aren't as good as ones we've seen previously. All right. Well, where do you end up on VHS Beyond, Jeff?
I think what I decided a series in general is that you're gonna get one or two that you really like.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a slog to get there because you're sitting through two full hours of shorts, and that's the same here. Like same thing, but a lot of the other shorts are like it's literally like being on a carnival ride where something pops out and goes boo at the end. And I just thought that again, I think the last couple before this kind of like were sort of raising my expectations of what you could get out of a VHS movie, and this kind of lowered it again. I had fun with. I really enjoyed like the aliens attacking the skydivers, and I got a real kick out of the doggy daycare. But overall, again, I just think it's a step down. Again, you have to wade through a lot of stuff that's not that good to get to the ones that are kind of fun. I recommend it because, it's something new to watch during the Halloween season. It's not terrible. You're going to have a few thrills. If you like the series, it's worth checking out. If you like the series, for me, I thought it kind of peaked with last year's. I kind of talked myself up to a higher score on this than I was initially. I'm gonna go 5 out of 10.
Okay. Wow. I thought I would. I thought you would be higher than me coming out of this. Because I also like the VHS series. This is maybe the biggest letdown in the series, but I hold those other ones, I think, maybe a little bit higher. And this was just, especially the last three, really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's worse ones than this. It's just the last three were better than this. That's what I think.
And so, like, yeah, and this one only had, like, for me, normally there's, like, 2, maybe even 3 out of the 5 or 6 that they have that I'm like, yeah, I really like these. There's always a stinker, there's always one that I'm like, I hate this. This is stupid.
Yeah.
But this one really, like, the only one I was like, yeah, Fur Babies is the one for me. And yeah, it goes against the theming in this one. And Stork and the I guess the skydiving one were okay for me. And this has 2 really bad stinkers with Dream Girl and Stowaway.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, I still like the series. I like the format. Yeah. And it's, I think I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and it's kind of where I'm at with it here. I'm going to go a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Oh, so then we both think that this is better than
it's better than 1031. It's just
it's a different league.
Inherently it is this is professional people that know how to make movies and shit.
Mike Flanagan worked on this one, and not just some guy,
some dude with a camera that was like, I can make a movie. Justin Long worked on this, right? Like there are people that people know that know how to make movies. Even if Justin Long did. I didn't even think of that. He fucking ripped off Tusk.
It hit me as you were describing it, because as you were describing it, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of the Kevin Smith movie, and I was like, hasn't Justin Long worked with Kevin Smith? And then I was like, wait, wasn't he in? He's the guy in Tusk, right?
He is the guy in Tusk.
So he's fucking ripping off Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith should sue him.
I think him and Smith get along real well. He just showed up in that new can't remember the name of it.
The 430 movie.
The 430 movie. He was in that, and he was in Clerks 3. Briefly, he just shows up. But yeah. Anyway, that's where we're at. VHS Beyond taking down the independent anthology.
And again, despite it being a disappointment, I'd say check it out this Halloween season. It's a new horror movie, and it's not terrible. There's a few that you may enjoy,
Yeah. Jeff, what do you have on tap for us?
Okay.
Hopefully in like a couple weeks. Hopefully we get to watch them really soon.
Hopefully soon. Excited about this one. I think it will lead to an interesting discussion as well as some strong opinions. So I don't know where I really don't. But I want to do a movie and its remake, except this is an inexplicable one. We are going to do Speak No Evil from 2022 versus the American remake that just came out, Speak No Evil 2024. Now, the original was mostly in English to begin with, and it just came out a couple years ago, but we have to make it more, and I'm interested to see how that affects it. I guess the last thing I'll say about that is that, No Evil, I believe, is still available on Shudder. We are hoping that the new one comes to like a normal rental price soon because it has an expected Peacock release date of November. So we're, hopefully early-ish November we get to watch these both.
And where is the original?
I believe it's on Shudder. That's where I saw it originally. I think it is still there. I think they have like the rights to it or something. So,
I may get lucky if I want to go out at night. It has one showing for like the next week in my theater at 9:00 at night every day. So I could possibly do that.
I don't know how you might hate me after.
It's fine. I can use my my A list for it.
I'm just saying for what I put you through with these two movies.
Yeah. But yeah, so looking forward to those, and hopefully we'll be able to watch them soonish.
Yeah.
If not, we'll be coming at you early mid-November. We're hoping to have it before then, but
hopefully earlier than this time in November and closer to the beginning. We're trying. We're trying.
And I have mine picked out for after that, so I will let Jeff know off the air what they are, and maybe we can hit both of those up pretty quickly.
I think we can get back on track by the time it's for our Christmas episode.
Okay.
So yeah, I look forward to like real dark depravity for next episode.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll be back shortly, hopefully. Not too far away. Catch you then.
Happy Halloween.